A young boy firmly opposes his father's decision to remarry, showing selfishness and jealousy. He continuously tried to stop the marriage, and finally succeeded. Stay tuned to discover what happens next, and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more stories. Jimmy Mlan is a talented lawyer who spent his youth becoming a great defender of law and righteousness. At the age of 32, he successfully built his small law firm and married Alina, the love of his life. Alina is also a successful lawyer and has won almost all the cases she takes on. After several years of marriage, Alina became pregnant and Jimmy couldn't have been happier with the news. They are mentally and financially prepared to have children. One day, Alina decided to have an ultrasound to find out the baby's gender. She discovered that she was expecting twins, a boy and a girl. Jimmy will be the happiest man on earth. Alina exclaimed, her eyes shining with excitement. That evening, she prepared a sumptuous dinner with candles and roses. Jimmy feels happy because of the attention from his wife. During dinner, Alina brings Jimmy a gift box and asks him to open it. "Oh my God, you've spoiled me so much tonight," he said smiling gently, while Alina crossed her arms and looked at him with happy eyes. When Jimmy opened the box, he found two cute little pairs of baby shoes, one blue and one pink. Jimmy's eyes lit up with happiness when he realized that he was about to become the father of two adorable children. Jimmy and Alina's lives are full of joy and happiness as they prepare to welcome two little angels. Stay tuned to discover other inspiring stories about life and love. Jimmy held in his hand a pair of baby shoes, one blue, one pink, along with an ultrasound picture of his two children. He looked at Alina in surprise. "Is that what you're thinking?" Alina smiled, tears of happiness sparkling in her eyes. "That's right, we're having twins." Jimmy was emotional and couldn't hold back his tears. He was about to become a father, not to one but to two children, a wonderful surprise that fate had brought to their family. Time passed, the happy couple prepared for the birth. They share hopes and dreams for the future, planning games and stories to tell their children. They chose the name, decorated the room, and bought clothes, toys, and all the necessary things. Their lives are filled with joy and happiness as they live their dreams. But life can change quickly. On the day Alina gave birth, she felt intense contractions and was taken straight to the hospital. Jimmy waited nervously outside the delivery room, his heart pounding. After what seemed like an eternity, the medical staff left the room with a sad look on their face. Jimmy felt his heart drop. He asked someone, "Please, tell me what's going on." No one answered. Jimmy decided to rush into the room and heard the baby crying. He didn't understand what was going on. A doctor walked past him and said, "Mr. Mlan, we are so sorry, we lost Alina and our daughter during childbirth." Jimmy was extremely heartbroken, but in that pain, he knew he had to be strong for his remaining son. He promised himself that he would nurture and love his son, continuing the dream that he and Alina had started. Jimmy was shocked and couldn't believe the doctor's words. He cried, "You have to do something. She can't die. I see she's still breathing." Jimmy's cries broke the hearts of the medical staff. The happiest moment of his life turned into a nightmare when he lost his beloved wife and daughter he had never met. After the funeral, Jimmy fell into a deep depression, grieving the loss of Alina and his daughter. His mother came to stay with him, taking care of the boy they named Robin. She showered Robin with love and care, trying to fill the void Alina left behind. Thanks to Robin's love and strength, Jimmy gradually recovered from his pain. Robin was a playful and sweet child, and his grandmother took very good care of him, giving him all the love and attention a mother could give her child. Jimmy's business flourished as he devoted all his time and energy to turning it into a worthwhile company with an enviable reputation. He worked tirelessly, wanting to provide a better life for his son and to honor the memory of his late wife. As Robin grew older, Jimmy looked at him with sadness mixed with joy, remembering the dreams he and Alina had shared for their children. Despite the pain of loss, Jimmy finds solace in his son's laughter and smile, and he is determined to give him the best life possible. At the age of 11, Robin has become a wonderful boy, smart, handsome and talented. He shines as the school's soccer star. Jimmy is determined to give his son the best education possible, willing to pay large sums of money to ensure Robin's future is brilliant. Jimmy is determined to invest in Robin's future, paying for him to study at prestigious schools and signing him up for the best clubs to hone his talent. He is always present at all of his son's matches, cheering and supporting him wholeheartedly. Meanwhile, Robin's grandmother wants to have her own place so she can live independently. Her advanced age made it difficult for her to maintain her own home, but she craved the comfort and familiarity of her own space. Understanding his mother's wishes, Jimmy helped her adjust the house, meeting all her needs to facilitate daily work. She didn't like the idea of having a maid take care of the house, so when she returned to her house, she was extremely happy, surrounded by memories and familiarity of the past. The days of tending the garden, cooking her favorite meals and reminiscing about her past life made her feel happy. Despite her age, her memory remains sharp and active, always eager to share stories and wisdom with Robin whenever they meet. Jimmy and Robin often visit her, bringing her favorite foods and listening to stories about the past. She treasured these visits, feeling grateful for the love and support of her family as she grew older. Robin is a talkative boy who loves to spend quality time with his father. He was always open with Jimmy about every topic, and Jimmy cherished these moments with an open heart. He cherished the father-son relationship and the conversations about life, family, and responsibilities they shared, knowing that Robin would one day become a strong and responsible man. Robin opened up to his father, expressing his deep desire to have his mother and siblings in his life. He said he was open to the idea of having a new family, which surprised and touched Jimmy. Previously, Jimmy had been hesitant about remarrying, but Robin's words gave him a new perspective. He explained to his son that, whenever he found the right person, he would be happy that Robin did not reject the idea of his father getting married again. That month, as Robin prepared for the school's championship final, Jimmy was his biggest fan. They arrived at the stadium on time and Robin and the team began their pre-match warm-up. The atmosphere was electric as people began to gather at the stadium where the tournament was taking place. Jimmy found a vantage point to watch his son and cheer him on. Robin's team performed excellently and won the final. They were extremely happy after the match, celebrating their success and receiving the trophy. Jimmy hugged his son, beaming with pride. "I'm so proud of you, son." Robin responded enthusiastically, "Thanks, Dad, I couldn't have done this without your steadfast support." "Okay, I'll wait for you outside," Jimmy added, excited to share this moment with his son. He went out, trying to appreciate the moment. The sunset was dyed red and yellow, the light pointing towards the earth, filled with hope and happiness. The laughter and cheers of the surrounding children made for a proud day. Jimmy stood next to his luxury sports car, feeling the wind caressing his face, the warmth of the sun and the excitement of the day. While happily turning around to get into the car, he accidentally bumped into a woman passing by. Her bag fell to the ground and just as she tried to pick it up, Jimmy bent down to help. Their eyes met and an instant chemistry filled the air, making Jimmy's heart skip a beat. "Oh, I'm sorry," Jimmy said, feeling a little embarrassed. "It's my fault. I was going too fast without looking down." The woman replied, her voice barely above a whisper, "It's okay, it's my fault." A moment of silence filled the air, then she reached out to ask for her bag. "Oh. Sorry, here you go," Jimmy said, handing her the bag. "It's okay, I'm Lizzie," she smiled softly. "Jimmy." "Jimmy Mlan," he replied, feeling a bit awkward. "Are you waiting for someone?" Lizzie asked, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Yeah, I'm waiting for my son," Jimmy replied, feeling a bit confused. "I guess that boy plays for the winning Scottish Rovers team, right?" Lizzie asked, the smile on her face growing bigger. "That's right," Jimmy said, feeling proud. "Congratulations, Jimmy," Lizzie said, her voice full of enthusiasm. "Thank you really," Jimmy replied, feeling flattered. "Okay, I have to go now." "Have a nice day," Lizzie said, turning away with a warm smile. Jimmy stood looking at her figure. His heart seemed to beat faster. Is this a sign of a new beginning? Only time will tell. Jimmy wanted to ask more about Lizzie or ask how to contact her, but shyness and pride prevented him from doing so. He just said thank you as Lizzie left. Just then, Robin ran up after the match and asked his father about that woman. "I don't know her," Jimmy replied, "we just met here." Jimmy feels he can open up to Lizzie, but he hopes that one day they will meet again and he will have a chance to get to know her better. The following week, when Jimmy came to pick Robin up from school, he was surprised to see Lizzie passing by. "Oh, hello Jimmy, good morning," Lizzie said, making Jimmy feel a sinking feeling in his stomach. "Hello Lizzie, what a pleasant surprise to see you again," he tried to sound casual. "Yeah, I was passing by. Actually, I work nearby and saw you from around the corner, so I decided to say hi," Lizzie said. "Oh, you're great, Lizzie," Jimmy said. "Actually, I'm planning an event and want to invite clients and friends. Here's my invitation with address and phone number. I'd love it if you could come so we can get used to each other." "My pleasure, Jimmy," Lizzie replied. "I will try to come." As Lizzie left, Robin approached the car and said, "Dad, that's the woman from match day." "Yes, Rob. I think fate has something in store for us," Jimmy replied, smiling. "Dad met her by chance, that's great, Dad." Robin said. "Dad is thinking of throwing a party to celebrate the family." Jimmy smiled and father and son both smiled widely. On the day of the event, Jimmy was busy with his guests but occasionally glanced to see if he could see Lizzie in the crowd. Everything is organized and sophisticated. The company members all came to announce a new partnership with a very important company. While he was talking to a colleague from the Supreme Court, Jimmy's eyes were drawn to a charming creature standing in the corner of the room. She was very beautiful, dressed modestly but elegantly, and was reading a brochure. Jimmy apologized to his colleague and walked towards her. "Hello Lizzie, I'm so glad you came," he tried to sound casual. "Hey Jimmy, I have some free time so I thought why not stop by." Lizzie replied. "I didn't know this company was yours until I saw your name on the folder." Jimmy was surprised but tried to hide his emotions. "Yes, I'm the CEO," he said, trying to sound nonchalant. "I'm glad you could come. Would you like something to drink?" Lizzie smiled and nodded, "That would be great, thank you." Jimmy felt very happy about this meeting. They talked all evening about work and life. Lizzie is charming, a good conversationalist and very cultured, which makes Jimmy feel lucky to have met her. Lizzie is an architect who just started her own company. Her business is not as big as Jimmy's, but she has started building from solid foundations. The two continued to talk, discovering things in common and gradually feeling closer. Jimmy realizes that meeting Lizzie wasn't just a coincidence, but could be part of something bigger in his life. Lizzie, although her business is not as prosperous as Jimmy's, is still working hard to build her career. Jimmy suggested that he could help her grow her business, and that's how they started communicating on the phone and meeting regularly. Jimmy's vision and experience were invaluable, and Lizzie didn't want to miss that opportunity. She was grateful for his guidance and support, while Jimmy was happy to help her grow her business. As they continue to talk and work together, Jimmy is fascinated by Lizzie's charm. He was attracted to her intelligence, passion for work, and kind heart. After a few months, Jimmy realized he had deep feelings for Lizzie. He admired her so much that he thought about remarrying. Why not, he wondered. She's perfect for me. One day, Jimmy invited Lizzie to lunch and broached the subject of marriage. He was anxiously awaiting her response, hoping that she would feel the same as he did. Getting married again would be a big step, but Jimmy felt it was the right decision. Lizzie was very happy and agreed with Jimmy's opinion. She said, "I admire you too, Jimmy." They discuss his son, and Lizzie shares that she loves children and hopes to meet Robin soon to build a relationship with him. Jimmy and Lizzie continue to talk about the details of their potential marriage, discussing values and expected goals. They both agree that they want to build a life together and are excited to start this new chapter. Later that evening, Jimmy walked Lizzie home, his heart filled with happiness and hope for the bright future they would build together. Jimmy was pleased to know that he had found the right person and felt grateful for the chance meeting at that event. He can't wait to start his new life with Lizzie. When Jimmy and Robin agree to meet Lizzie at a diner, Robin's excitement is evident. He has always dreamed of having a family, and now he is about to meet the woman who will bring happiness to his father and complete their little family. Robin's heart swelled with joy at the prospect of finally having a mother and siblings. As they sat down at the diner, Robin's eyes scanned the room, enjoying the warm atmosphere and the chatter of the guests. He couldn't help but feel a sense of anticipation because he knew that this was a momentous occasion. Jimmy also seemed nervous but happy, his eyes shining as he introduced Robin to Lizzie. Robin initially tries to put on a brave face to hide his growing insecurity behind a facade of enthusiasm. But as they talked and laughed together, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Lizzie seemed nice, but there was something about her that didn't sit right with Robin that he couldn't quite understand. His instincts were screaming that something was wrong. As they continued to talk, Robin's discomfort increased. He glanced around the diner, looking for an escape or a way to break the tension. Jimmy, oblivious to Robin's insecurities, was still beaming with happiness, and Lizzie seemed to be enjoying herself. But Robin felt that this was not the right woman for their family, and he couldn't shake that feeling. After dinner, Robin and Jimmy returned home. Once they're settled, Robin musters the courage to express his true feelings about Liz to his father. With a heavy heart, he confessed that he didn't like Liz at all. Robin went on to explain that he felt Liz was fake and her actions were just an act. However, Jimmy, blinded by his own feelings for Liz, dismissed Robin's worries as childish and unfounded. He couldn't accept the idea that the woman he had fallen in love with could be anything other than sincere. Jimmy's blind trust in Liz makes it difficult for him to realize the truth his son is trying to convey. After a short time, Liz and Jimmy became engaged, and she often stopped by Jimmy's house. During these visits, she often gives instructions about housework as if she were in her own house. Robin, who had begun to hate Liz, felt increasingly uncomfortable with her presence. Her condescending attitude towards Robin only added to his discomfort. Furthermore, Robin notices that Liz's behavior changes significantly when Jimmy is around. She would give him attention and affection, but when Jimmy was not around, she became cold and distant. This makes Robin feel more insecure. He couldn't help but wonder if Liz truly cared about her father or was just using him to get closer to her goals. As Liz's business begins to thrive, Jimmy's generosity continues to support her efforts. He even gave her a large amount of money to open a new office. Robin becomes increasingly suspicious of Liz's true purpose. Even though his heart was filled with worry and insecurity, he still hoped that his father would realize the truth before it was too late. Liz used Jimmy's generosity to advance her own interests, and he didn't seem to mind, believing he was supporting his fiancé's ambitions. One day, while Robin was at home, Liz suddenly dropped by without warning. She didn't know Robin was present, and the boy quietly watched from afar as she sat in the living room talking on the phone to a man. Her laughter and conversation had an air of intimacy and familiarity, making Robin's instincts tell him something was wrong. Robin's heart sank when he heard Liz say, "We're about to finish what we started." "He's a fool." "No, don't worry, he won't notice anything." Those words sent chills down Robin's spine. He knew immediately that Liz was talking about his father. This realization hit him like a ton of bricks, and he felt a wave of anger and betrayal wash over him. That night, Robin decided to confront his father about his suspicions. He can't keep the truth to himself anymore and needs to know if Jimmy realizes Liz's true nature. With a heavy heart, Robin approaches his father, determined to expose the truth and protect him from Liz's manipulation. Emotions were mixed, his heart pounded with anxiety as he revealed what he had overheard. "Dad, I need to tell you something," his voice trembled. "Today, while I was in the living room, Liz stopped by. She was on the phone with a man and I overheard her say some things that made me very uncomfortable." Jimmy's expression remained calm, but Robin could sense a hint of defensiveness in his tone. "What?" Jimmy asked, concern flashing in his eyes. Robin took a deep breath, deciding to say everything he had heard. "She said they were about to finish what they started and called you a fool. She said you wouldn't notice anything. I think she's taking advantage of you, and I can't keep quiet again." Jimmy was speechless, his eyes gradually changed from calm to pain and anger when he realized the truth. Robin's words were like a knife cutting into his heart, but he knew that his son was only trying to protect him. This cruel truth forces Jimmy to face reality and reconsider his relationship with Liz. "What are you talking about?" Jimmy asked, sounding skeptical. Robin took a deep breath and continued, "She said something about finishing what they started and that Dad was an idiot. She also said Dad wouldn't notice anything. I know she's talking about Dad. I know she's not who she says she is." Jimmy's face remained impassive, but Robin could see the faint flicker of doubt in his eyes. "Robin, you're just not used to her yet," Jimmy said reassuringly. "You will get to know her and then you will see what a wonderful person she is. When she moves in with us, you will understand her better and will change your mind." Robin felt extremely disappointed and angry. "Dad, I'm not just talking about whether she's nice or not. I'm talking about her being fake and using you to make money. You don't see her for who she really is and you're putting yourself at risk, and our family is in danger." Jimmy's expression turned serious and he shook his head. "Robin, I understand that you're worried, but you're just being paranoid. Liz is a good person and she loves me. You'll see that when you get to know her better." As the days pass, Robin's efforts to convince his father of Liz's true nature fall on deaf ears. Jimmy remains steadfast in his belief that Liz is a good person who loves him and that Robin will eventually accept her when they marry. Jimmy finds himself torn between his love for his son and his infatuation with Liz. This blindness caused him to fail to recognize the obvious warning signals, and he continued to move forward with marriage without knowing that he was putting his entire family in a dangerous situation. Meanwhile, Robin becomes increasingly helpless and worried. He knows he has to find a way to protect his father, but every effort seems to only make Jimmy even more distant. Robin does not give up, determined to expose the truth about Liz, hoping that one day Jimmy will realize the truth and save the family from potential disaster. Desperate to have Liz in his life, Jimmy worries that Robin's disapproval will put a strain on their relationship and he desperately wants them to get along. His love for Liz is strong, and he believes she is the only one for him. Liz sensed Jimmy's hesitation and made 1,000 promises to love and protect Robin like her own child. She assured her that she would be a loving and supportive mother, and that she would do everything in her power to make Robin feel welcome and accepted in the new family. The wedding day has finally arrived, the atmosphere is filled with excitement and excitement. The venue is transformed into a picturesque setting with colorful decorations, delicious dishes, and a variety of cakes and drinks. All the guests were dressed in their best, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of flowers and gentle chatter. However, amidst all the joy and celebration, there was one person who stood out as a complete contrast. Robin, his eyes red and puffy from crying, his face etched with sadness. A few days before the wedding, Robin had a heated argument with his father, refusing to accept Liz as his stepmother. The argument erupted when a man claiming to be Liz's brother came to their house. Robin was suspicious of the man from the beginning and felt something was wrong when the man began interacting with Liz. His suspicions grew and he finally flew into a rage, shouting that this was not her biological brother. In the end, Robin's determination was unwavering. He decided to leave his father's house to seek solace elsewhere. Jimmy's heart is torn between his love for his son and his new love for Liz, but he remains hopeful that time will smooth out any misunderstandings and they can become a happy family. Robin, along with his grandmother, packed a small bag and set out for her house with many mixed emotions as he left behind the only life he had ever known. Upon arriving at her grandmother's house, Robin was enveloped in a warm hug and her grandmother's soothing presence. She listened attentively as Robin poured her heart out, sharing her fears and worries about Liz and her impending marriage. Grandma, her sympathetic ear, offered words of comfort and reassurance that only she could provide. As the ceremony begins, the officiant asks Jimmy if he accepts Liz as his wife. Jimmy's eyes were fixed on his son, Robin, who was sitting in the front row with his face etched with sadness. Jimmy's expression changed, and he shook his head, saying firmly but regretfully, "No, I don't." Liz's eyes widened in shock as she stared at Jimmy, her face pale. "What do you mean?" she asked, her voice shaking. Jimmy's eyes never left Robin's face. "I mean I was lied to, manipulated and taken advantage of," his voice grew stronger. "You lied to me about your past, about your brother and about your intentions. You used me for money and brought that man to my house, claiming that he was your brother. Unbelievable." The room was silent, all eyes were glued to what was happening. The guests were stunned, unable to believe what they heard. Liz's face went white as she realized the extent of Jimmy's discovery. It turns out that after Robin revealed what he knew, his grandmother became suspicious and decided to investigate further. She discovered the truth about Liz and helped Jimmy realize her true colors. In the end, Jimmy felt grateful to his son and mother for helping him see the truth. They saved him from a big mistake and helped him protect his family from manipulation. Meanwhile, Robin is relieved to see his father realize the truth and call off his engagement with Liz. Both father and son hugged each other, feeling solidarity and deep love, knowing that they would overcome any challenge together. The house has several old surveillance cameras installed a few years ago to monitor Robin. These cameras were installed when their grandmother lived with them, and she reviewed the recording and discovered Liz's conversation with the strange man. The recording revealed both Liz's misbehavior with strangers, and the grandmother learned more about the man, discovering that he had a criminal record for theft and fraud. She collected all the evidence and waited for the right moment to reveal the truth to Jimmy. When the truth comes to light, Liz's mask falls. She hugged the dress, her eyes filled with tears, and turned to leave the wedding, but it was too late. Police officers called to the scene were there and quickly arrested Liz, preventing her from fleeing. "You will pay for your lies, Liz," Jimmy said, his voice cold and decisive. The room erupted into chaos as the guests began whispering, shocked by these revelations. Jimmy chases after Liz and the strange man, determined to make them pay for their actions before the law. He was blinded by his love for Liz, but now he sees clearly what a liar and manipulator she really is, who almost ruined his life. Filled with relief and gratitude, Jimmy returned to his son, Robin, the only person who had seen through Liz's true colors. After the incident, he thanked Robin for his courage and for saving him from the clutches of the scammers. Without Robin's insight and courage, Jimmy could have lost everything. The two hugged each other, realizing that love and trust in family are the most precious things. Robin's intervention saved Jimmy from losing everything he had built from the beginning. Jimmy is extremely grateful to his son for preventing him from making a serious mistake. As time passes, Jimmy's gratitude for Robin only grows stronger. He realized that he had been so caught up in his personal emotions that he almost lost sight of the true importance of his son's happiness and safety. Jimmy vows to be more vigilant and always put Robin's needs before his own. This incident made him realize the true value of family and the importance of listening and trusting those closest to him. This story is a testament to the power of love and understanding in family. If you liked this story, I am sure that the next video that appears on your screen will also touch your heart. Let's watch and feel the profound lessons from life.